What is up, everybody? Tuberverse here today, and we're gonna talk more about the Insomniac leaks. There is so much information to dissect with those different leaks, and this is just one more segment of it. Apparently, Insomniac was pressured by Sony to make budget cuts despite the success of Spider-Man 2. This game had a ridiculously high budget. I believe this game had $315 million invested into making this game. That is an extremely high budget. I believe this is 3 times the cost of the original Spider-Man game for PS4. And with that, even with this game doing well, they still got to make budget cuts. I mean, they still got to lay off some people. And apparently there's going to be one of these studios being closed as well from PlayStation. So this is an excerpt from an article talking about this, about these budget cuts. We have to make future AAA franchise games for $350 million or less, reads one slide from the Sustainable Budgets presentation earlier this year. In today's dollars, that's like making Spider-Man 2 for $215 million. That's $65 million less than our Spider-Man 2 budget. It's 3 times the investment in Spider-Man 2. Is it evidence to anyone who plays the game? I can't tell that much difference, like from this and Spider-Man 1. Sure, there's differences, but to make it 3 times the cost of the original game, I don't see that much of a difference in Spider-Man 2, but apparently it cost them that much to make that game. A more recent presentation in November points to potentially more drastic cuts. Slimming down a Ratchet and cutting new IPs will not account for the reduction Sony is looking for. According to Sonic head Ted Price, to remove 50 to 75 people strategically, our best option is to cut deeply into Wolverine Spider-Man 3, replacing lower performers with team members from Ratchet and a new IP. So you gotta cut like around 75 people from this game. So people are being laid off from their jobs because of this game. The budget being so freaking high. So that kind of gives you more clarity onto why they're making the sequel, Spider-Man 3. It's going to be into 3 parts. Why they're trying to make that into 3 parts and charge you $50 a piece for each one of those parts. So you see why these costs for these games, these AAA games, are just so high right now to this point. Where it's just craziness. The notes suggest that cuts are being asked of other PlayStation studios as well, including the line there would be one studio closure. Yeah, so one of these studios is closing down. We don't know which one, but it's not looking good. It's not looking good right now. But according to Sony fanboys, because PlayStation sold, Sony sold 50 million PS5s, everything is great. They're celebrating right now. What is really not that great? It's really not. This is not good news right here. But let's see what you got to say about this. I think the studio that gets shut down is Media Molecule. I don't know what games they made recently. I know they made the Sackboy game for PS5, and I don't think that game did that great. So that might be Media Molecule. I don't know what games they're making outside of that. So that studio might get the axe. Who knows? This is why games as a service and service matters in today's environment. Can't rely on first week sales to keep a studio afloat. Sony Interactive Entertainment will become BlackBerry if they don't change course soon. But I thought the 50 million PS5s was enough to save the day. What do you mean they're going to become like BlackBerry? They've been living beyond their means. Sony not meeting target expectations. That Call of Duty really affected their 10-year plan. It's kind of like the whole, just depending on console sales, it's kind of archaic at this point in time. Maybe that's like an old metric that we shouldn't really go by anymore. Maybe that's kind of the sense we're getting from this whole thing. That even with those game success, people still gotta be let go. So, not a good sign right there. This guy just says, oof. What's worse is the layoffs are pretty high and it's affecting the game development too. It's all about the money at the end of the day. Any business that tries to cut costs, the first thing to go is headcount always. I call it Sobe being the next victim, and that seems to be the case. Third party getting closer every day. Studio closure, I bet it's Bend. Bend Studios, what he's referencing. Sounds good. This is really gonna hurt the PlayStation game development, but something has to be done to cut costs when ponies don't buy games. They really don't. And even when they do buy games, it's still not enough because the budget, the production costs are so high. So sadly, my guess has been studios. Ponies just aren't supporting enough, and that's sadly the case right there. They will buy Call of Duty, they will buy Madden, they will buy FIFA, they would buy skins on Fortnite, but they would not buy those first party games. It's just sad to see. That subscription money would have helped a lot here. And saying that no one is talking about this in the media, yeah, they're too busy being buddy with PlayStation to talk about this stuff. I got a feeling that Ben Studios is the one being closed here, and the domino effect begins. Putting a $300 million budget on a Spider-Man game, and I believe that budget was more than like most of the big Spider-Man movies cost. So this game costs more of these movies, which is kind of insane. So they're spending more than movie budgets to make these games. So at this point in time. Let's see. Sony is just killing everything. Their games suck too. That's why I don't game on that pony box. Okay. People suggest either Media Molecule or Ben Studios, because we haven't really seen too much from either one of those studios this generation, and what they have put out it just has been that impressive, to be honest. So they might get the axe. Slimming down Ratchet, they better leave Ratchet and Clank alone. Maybe they should work on their own IPs instead of giving Marvel a cut of their profits. You guys don't buy their games though. That's the problem here. You're not buying their games. If it doesn't have a Marvel logo on it or a big PlayStation budget property like The Last of Us, you aren't buying it. So people talking about Sony acquiring Take-Two, yet they want to close studios. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. How are you going to buy more studios if you want to close down another one? So when are the rest of you gonna wake up? It is over. Lord have mercy, how much more can a one and done be cut? I don't know at this point. Like, it was getting spooky. Definitely pretty spooky. My goodness, I was told console sales pay for all of this. Yeah, once again, it's just very evident at this point. We can't go by console sales being the only thing that matters. It's like, it's an old concept that shouldn't determine if the company is successful or not. Just how many consoles they're selling, because obviously it's not enough. I keep saying it. PlayStation is broke. Jim Ryan said it. Ponies, you are not enough. Yeah, that's probably why they were terrified of the Call of Duty thing going on, and why Microsoft owning Call of Duty is a big threat to them, because the PlayStation exclusives isn't enough to keep them afloat. So they just can't catch a break. Yeah, pretty much. This is ridiculous. Not only do they want to charge $80 to $100 for Spider-Man 3, they're also laying off workers. I don't see how people can support Sony anymore at this point. Thank goodness for being an Xbox gamer and Game Pass enthusiast. Life is good over here. We definitely aren't hearing any crazy stories about people being laid off because of people not supporting these games enough. So yeah, that's one of the benefits. We gotta see the crazy stuff like this. Sony's revenue cost ratio is out of control. Their operating income is taking a hit. Apart from PS Plus, I'm struggling to think what internal recurring revenue they have. And over-reliance on short-term third-party deals, selling 50 million consoles alone, doesn't resolve this. Finally, I'm glad people are waking up to this nonsense. I've been saying this for the longest. Them selling consoles isn't enough. It's just a stupid short-term thing that you brag about, but at the end of the day, it's not enough. You make money off software subscriptions, not just hardware sales. It's like, it's so dumb to think that's the only way you're making money. Ain't gonna be afloat. That's just so dumb. But no, according to Sony fanboys, they just know everything. This news just keeps on getting worse for PlayStation. Tragic stuff over at Insomniac Games. A massive success, and they still have to scale down their studios. Yeah, that's sad to see at this point, but it is what it is. It's like, you can have these extremely high budgets, and that'd be it. If you're gonna have these extremely high budgets, then the fan base has to buy these games entirely. Like, your attachment rate has to be like what Nintendo gamers' attachment rates to their first party games, but it's not the same thing with Sony's first party games. They don't have the same attachment rate, so it is what it is. People brag about these PlayStation first party games, but they don't buy them. It is what it is. So those are my thoughts about this. I'm not gonna drag this out too long, but definitely want to see your thoughts down below. Leave a like if you like this video. As always, thanks for watching, and peace